hello. Happy Sunday afternoon. I moved everything around and now I'm like, not sure. I got it the way I want. Okay, so I was trying to hide the mess behind me. I, you know, some days are better than others, right? I just have a lot of stuff in progress, and that's where it lands as far as this working room because the computer takes up this entire desk, and I have one small table. I have a thing behind me that's full of plants, right? Bookshelf full of books. So, anyway, I got a mess on the bed right now. But I'm making progress. I have been doing a lot of work today as far as um, scanning off, um, plying, not actually spinning, but a little bit of finish work. And I have show and tell today. I have lots of show and tell today. Um, I will tell you that I had a wonderful time, a great trip to Greencastle. It was beautiful weather. In fact, it was almost too hot. It was beautiful weather. Um, we went to Bloomington first, which we did nothing but drive up there in the late afternoon, go up to our favorite place to get a beer, which is called the Tap. And we've been there a number of times when we've gone to Bloomington, got a beer, and then walked right down the street. We could walk everywhere, right? So the car was just parked in the hotel thing, and we could walk everywhere. And walked down the street and went to an Irish restaurant called the Red Lion. And that was fun. We got to sit outside because, like I said, the weather was perfect. And I had Irish stew, which has lamb and vegetables and a nice brown gravy broth, not really broth, thickened gravy, and in a bread bowl. Oh, that I mean, I could only even eat half. The bowl was, it was so big. It's a waste, and you can't really take it home because they put the soup in there, right? But it was very good food, and we had a good time. And then the next day, it was about an hour drive to Greencastle. We got there at 11 o'clock, and it was smaller. I mean, as far as the number of vendors was probably about three-fourths, maybe two-thirds. It was not what it usually is. Booths were spread out enough to make it look like there was no empty space or whatever, and I'm sure the vendors enjoyed having a little bit of extra space. And a lot of the vendors that I expected to see was there. There were two that I didn't see. One is an older lady who always had Angora rabbits, and she wasn't there. In fact, I didn't see a single Angora rabbit. And the only animals I saw were like two sheep and three, I was told Angora goats. I call them mohair goats. I guess technically they are Angora goats. And I think it was an alpaca. It was either that or a smaller llama. I can't remember. It did not look like an alpaca in the sense that it was small boned and had the little, it looked bigger than that. So it must have been a smaller llama. I didn't ask. And two brand new baby lambs. Oh man, you talk about cute. I've got a picture I'll be posting on Discord that I took. It's on my phone, and I got to get it transferred over to. I don't have that Discord and all that on. So I have to put it up with my pictures on the cloud storage, and then Shutterfly, and then bring it down here, or to my iPad, one of the two. Anyway, it was a good visit. I went there were two buildings. I went around the first building completely, then went to the second building. I went around the first building without buying too much. I went around the second building. I went around there once, and I bought what I wanted while I was there. I talked to I'm not going to be able to, Beth, that does the combing system that I bought last year, she remembered me, and we talked about the combing system, and I asked her about her spinning wheel that she is designing, which is probably only ever going to be one of a kind. I don't think she's actually trying to do a model for production later. She is taking a wheel, and I think she built it. She's a woodworker. I think she built it. But she is just putting every kind of modification on it that makes it easier to use. Like how the bobbins are constructed. The internal shaft part, one comes off the shaft, and then it becomes a drop spindle, right? Or you put the other shaft on, put it on the flyer, and you have a bobbin. That is the kind of stuff she's designing. She is just making it all the things that spinners might want, and then these bobbins are going to go in through a side hole, the shaft part, and she's got some kind of bearing system in there so that you can pull, and it just rotates really good, and you can just pull and ply off of there. And so, it's I had to see where she was on it and what she liked and what she was still working on, and I talked to her for quite a while. I talked to Woolly Knob, of course, and the exciting thing is in September they're going to be at a show that I'm going to be going to, and I'm going to sublet a little bit of their space and sell my handspun yarn. So I'm actually going to get back to vending. I'm a little hesitant, but I'm also very excited about it, and I have enough time to get ready, right? I have lots in inventory, but I'm not real sure what I want to sell and what I don't, as far as, there's stuff that weavers might want to buy, and I have to figure out a way to market. Don't put this next to your skin without sounding so negative, right? Right. Something like that, right? Some little catchy thing that will catch people's eyes, and I can talk to them about it, and we can talk about different quality of wools, right? I am drinking an Irish coffee today. It got cold. We had 81 degrees yesterday, and it's right now the temp is 53. We had the high of 60 this morning, and it just kept going down and down and down. So I have my heavy sweatshirt on, and I am drinking a coffee to warm up and stay warm. So I'll probably be thinking of other things to talk about, but let's get to the show and tell part, because that's the fun part. Okay, when we were in Bloomington, I walked up in the street. Bloomington's on a hill. I'm doing this once, and I walked to the top of the hill and then went back down and looked at the shops. And one of the shops was a super wonderful kitchen supply store. I mean, where you go in and they just have anything you want, everything you want as far as kitchen tools. Really, really cool place. And then they also had foods and that are in jars, the things that you can buy for seasonings, things you can buy like pickles and specialty gourmet foods and things like that. They had coffees, they had teas, and they had a sale table. And this was on the sale table because it was really winter for Christmas, right? But these are teas, and I haven't opened this up yet. There's supposed to be 4 teas in here. And it was marked half price. But the thing about it is, it's from Finland. It's from Finland. It's Nordquest. Nordquest teas. So we have, and I won't be able to say it, Christmas tea, Paratinin Julietti, Christmas tea. Wonder if it says what's in here in English. Black tea, cinnamon, cardamom, and ginger flavors. They have this information about 5 different languages here, but they have the standard. You want 95 degrees centigrade, and you want it to brew for 1 to 2 minutes, right? They have that. Now, this must be green Christmas tea. That's almost like verdant, but it's not, right? So it's in Finnish. And this is green tea, strawberry, cinnamon, and cardamom. Yum. So we have black and green tea. There's 6 of each for 24 total. This one is called Old Time Baked Apple. That sounds really good. It's got black tea with baked natural apple flavor. Oh, that smells good. She's got her Santa Lucia candles right there that she's holding. And then this is Santa Lucia tea. Probably a white tea. Let me see here. Yep, red white tea. Flavored red white tea. And it is white tea, 4 red berries, and French vanilla flavors. Oh, man. Okay, so that I'm real excited about that. And that'll be maybe a streaming tea, right? Make a pot. I think that these make cups. They make a cup, not a pot. Okay. Let me. Why am I having an ad? Don't do ads. We're going to a new. Okay. I was at the end of one of their channels. I also, at that same place, got a Stroopwafel. And as you can see, I've been nibbling on that already. It's deep chocolate, dark chocolate dipped, and caramel filled. And it is nummy. It's just very intense. I don't know where to put anything. I have so much stuff around here right now. I don't know where to put anything. One of the vendors had used books for sale. And I'm just like all over that, right? And I got a really good book. I mean, it's a Xerox pamphlet, but it's sold by the American School of Knitters or Guild of Knitters or something like that. I mean, it was Xerox made to be sold that way. It wasn't secondhand. And because it came in a folder kind of thing. But anyway, it's all Afghans. And so that's real exciting. I love knitting Afghans, and there's quite a few in there. I always have to do these in commercial yarn. I never have enough yarn to do an Afghan. So a lot of times if I'm going to give them as a gift, I want to make it a washable yarn also. Anyway, so I got that book, and I got one called English Rose, which is nice. It's a hardback knitting clothing, and it's very, I mean, it's English, right? It's to be depictive of a lot of the traditional type of English knitting. And one of the things it features a lot of is roses. Okay, so it's got one big a beret with one big rose on it, or it's got a wrap and it's got a border of where you make these roses, and so it's called the English rose, and they have the rose theme all through it. And I just was really drawn to the rose. There's a couple, not cardigans, but pullover shell type, either sleeveless or short sleeve, that I'm really interested in making, and they all call for let's see, yarn number is 3, which is like sport weight or DK weight. They're DK weight, so they're not super thin. They have a good body and drape to them, instead of, where you end up knitting with real fine yarn or alpaca, which won't hold its shape or that kind of thing. They're using wool. It's Jameson. They're featuring the Jameson wools. And, or is that this one? I forget. No, I think that was the Jameson. And then this one was the real find. It is a legacy of Shetland lace. And I have had so many lace books and everything. I thought maybe I might have it. I've looked everywhere, though. I didn't recognize having it, like I had it. And she had $1 on this. So I got a real bargain, because every single pattern in here is just amazing, right? It's just amazing. And this does use the Shetland yarn, 1 ply or 2 ply. And there's a part of me wishes that maybe I could spin for it. I have a lot of Shetland. I just can't see that I may be able to spin that thin. But I know if I go, in fact, I have some in my stash. If I go and get the lace weight with the kid mohair that is so, it's sold a lot. I can't think of the name of the brand, but I mean, Kid Silk Haze is about the weight that you want to use. Now there's some that's a little heavier. They will say 2 ply, and they look like this. Okay, so they have got more heft to them, and I might try that in handspun. We'll see. So I just love this. And one of the nice things they did in here is, okay, so they say this pattern was from this person, Pearl Johnson. And then they have a whole thing about her history of how she learned to knit, what she likes to knit, where she tends to sell her things at her local craft shop or whatever, does workshops. She's part of the Shetland Guild of Spinners, Knitters, Weavers, and Dyers. She has shown in the Royal Highland Show in Edinburgh, which of course I've heard about. So, each one of these, where it was a designer that they hadn't talked about yet, they will give that. This is a real interesting color. That is lime green. Very, very gentle Easter lime green. And it's a short sleeve sweater. And to be honest with you, I think that would be too open to wear without like a shell underneath it, right? Plus it is a cardigan. I didn't notice that right off the bat, but yeah, it's a cardigan. It's a short sleeve cardigan though. Nice for spring maybe. I loved it. I love this. I don't know if I'll ever really try to make it or not. I would have to buy the yarn, I'm pretty sure. And we have a full cardigan, long sleeve cardigan, that I was going to say, why'd they do this in black and white? But that's the natural color. You know how Shetland has that gray-brown color? That's a natural color. That looks like it would just take forever. And it uses 2.25 millimeter needles, which is, do they say it in here? Yeah, US zeros. That's knit a full cardigan on 0 needles. Not for the faint of heart, right? Not for the faint of heart. All right, I have fiber to show you. Of course I bought fiber. I did not buy a fleece. I didn't buy a fleece. I made it past the fleece. And oh, it was so hard. The one way I did it was I went to my favorite lady. It's called Denise Fleeces. I went to her booth and I stood there and I talked to the people that were looking at the fleeces, and just in general, just talking to them about it. I just stood there and talked to them about it, not trying to sell or anything, just, I have worked with this. I'm in the process of washing the Cormo, talking about that, just in general, chat. And everybody was, they wanted to talk. They were really nice. But I ran into a young girl, and she was buying not a whole fleece, but a pound of 2 different fleeces, because she knew how to spin, and she had just recently learned how to wash fleece, and she wanted to go ahead and do 2 more. But what she was stuck on was what to do with it after you wash it. I said, how are you going to get it ready to spin? And she just like, I don't know, I guess I'm going to have to go buy the combs or carders. And I said, well, okay, that's and she was all like, I'm all for this. I'm ready to be I said, you're investing in tools, don't skimp. And she's, I'm ready to be invested in this. I'm ready to do this and everything. And I did tell her about lock spinning, where you can comb it with a dog comb, very inexpensive. I did give her that piece of information. I also told her my podcast name, because I have so much of that information on the podcast about how to process fleece and all that. So yeah, I had a good time talking about fleeces, and I didn't buy any. Speaking of fleece, I washed the Cormo, and it came out so much better than I thought it would. I need to take a side-by-side picture of a dirty batch and the clean batch and post that so that you can see. I was stunned. Now, I used a lot of hot water and soap. I was really stunned how well it came out, though. So that's about a fourth of what is half of the fleece. So it's an eighth of the fleece, right, that I've washed so far. Yeah, this is why I wasn't allowed to buy any more fleeces. It's going to take me forever to wash them. Let's see here. Show and tell. Next is yarn. So I have, over the past couple streams, I have been spinning a Romney mohair mix that is a deep aqua blue color. There we go. It's a Romney mohair. I got 300 yards out of 8-ounce ball. Doesn't seem like a lot. Come on. Get your... I had the color good. There we go. I'm amazed, right, that it's only 300 yards. It is 2-ply, but I am very happy with this. This is a very nice looking skein. I would look. It's too big to put in a fair as it is. I'd have to split it, but I don't know what I'm going to be doing about fair yet. That has to be. I have to submit my application by the end of May, and then it's in August, right? It takes stuff in. So I was real glad to get that done. I plied that today and skeined it. Now, do you remember me doing the Advent fiber? You know, it was a rainbow, started and progressed through all the different colors and everything. And there was 24 different colors. And then I spun a gray, brown. The first one was a blue face lesser. Next two were Romneys. To ply with it. So I have those all skeined off. It's in 2-yard skeins. That's the third color. Huh. Move it. Need to go that way. There we go. That's the third. That was the last skein I made. I have to take pictures of these and get them in Discord too. That was the second skein I made. I've actually not laid these out side by side yet. And that's the first skein I made. As you can see, there's a lot of blues and grays and pinks in this one. There's a lot of yellows and oranges and greens in this one. And there's greens and blues and a few miscellaneous white and black in that one. That is a good indication of what anything I make, if I put them all side by side, is going to look like. Here is my problem. I cannot decide what I want to make. I would like to make a vest. No, it isn't a vest so much as it's a vest, but it's a vest with squares, you know, and sewn under so it's not a shaped vest. It's a vest that kind of looks like you took a blanket, right, and just cut out a great big rectangle, but it'd be out of squares of this. That's, I don't have enough for, I could make a blanket, but who would see it? Nobody would see it except me. And this, I don't want to sell. It means too much to me. This was a labor of love. And so, an open vest, tunic style vest, right? Kind of. And the other thing I have patterns for are called the Oriental kimonos. I'm also thinking about the possibility of looking at that pattern book and trying to judge. I don't know what my gauge is going to be, but I have 348, 362, so that's 700. I have almost 1,000 yards. I'm about 20 yards under 1,000 yards. And it's not DK weight, it is Aran weight, it's worsted weight. It's thicker than, I just couldn't get it not thick. The process of spinning rologs for the colors and then spinning the roving for the plying single just made it end up getting. And this hasn't been washed yet either, so it's liable to puff even more. I have no idea what those Rologs were made out of, but I suspect they may have been merino. So this is liable to puff also. So that is my big show and tell. Oh no, it's not. I got to show fiber next. I am very happy with this. Very happy with this. Oh, I said, okay. This was actually skein number 1. It was the start of the box. Yeah, this one was the start of the box, middle, and this, I ended with this one. Okay, so when I went to the fiber fair, I didn't buy fleece, but I did buy all ready to spin fiber. And the very first thing I have to tell you is something happened that has never happened to me before. I got home and fiber was missing. I knew I had bought it. It was the very last place I stopped. And I had in my mind remembering walking out the door, going to the car, saying, did I pay them for this? Right? I had a bag in my hand. And I really thought it was the bag of that fiber. And this was Woolly Knob, by the way. People I know. And that's part of the problem is I went to their booth twice while I was there, and I, chatted for half an hour each time. We just have a lot to talk about, and we know each other over the years. And I used to vend there. They knew me from vending. They used to process a lot of my fleece. I'd buy a raw fleece while I was at the fiber fair and take it straight to them, right, and then go to the next show and pick it up from them. So we just have known each other over the years. And there's two guys, Matt and Jamie. So I was talking to Jamie at the very end, and I walked out. But I asked Jamie, when I was talking to him at that point, would you mind if I took a little corner of your booth in September and set up to sell my hand-spun yarns? And he said, oh, that'd be great. He said, we do that every now and then. He says, we have a lady at the next show that's going to be selling soaps and stuff. So I thought I had a novel idea, but one of the reasons is because they have a very, very large booth. And I couldn't begin to think about paying what they're probably paying for that very large booth. So I thought the offer of a little bit of payment as, a little corner part for me, they said, don't worry about it, we'll work it out. I don't know what's going to happen with that, but my point is, I don't have to rent a booth for what really wouldn't be enough to fill a booth. So I'm real happy about that, and I was talking about that, and I walked out, but before I left, I said, Jamie, I need your phone number so that I can talk to you before September, when we're making plans and whatever. And so he gave me his phone number, and I went home, and yesterday I started going through this room trying to pick up and putting, I had the fiber all together, and I was going through it, writing down some stuff so I'd remember where I got it, when I got it, what I paid, and that sort of thing. And I was like, where's my Woolly Knob fiber? So I go out in the car and look, and I tell hubby, and he says, I said, I know I had it. And he just looked at me. He says, I don't know. And I said, I put my cane in that fiber in the back seat before we left, and he went out and looked in the car. It was not in the car. And I was like having this awful sad, how could it have fallen out of the car, right? How could I have lost fiber? From there, we stopped at a Cracker Barrel to eat. That was the only time we stopped and got out of the car. And I did get out in the back seat to get my jacket, but, you know, I didn't think the fiber had fallen out. I think I would have seen it. I was perplexed. I was like, where did that fiber go? So I finally worked up the nerve to call Jamie. Or text him. I didn't call him, I texted him because I knew he was still in the show yesterday. And I said, I can't find the fiber I bought from you. It was 2 balls of dark green and 2 balls of a peachy blend. I said, did I by any chance leave it in your booth? And he texted back and he says, well, that explains that. I had left it there. He evidently had found the bag and wondered who left this, because of course it didn't have my name on it or anything. Oh, thank gosh. I was so happy. So he is going to mail it to me. So I don't have to wait until September to get it. But I was so sure I had that fiber in my hand when I walked out the door. I was so sure. Anyway, this is what I have that I bought. Interlacement had a booth. Interlacement is a really wonderful dyer, and I have bought things from them all through the years, right? But the only other place I think I have ever seen them have a booth was up in Stitches West. I don't know that I remember them ever coming to this fiber fair. So I was really happy about that. Now, I don't know if this was actually Interlacement or if it was somebody who is a dealer for them, local. Maybe be it, but there wasn't anything else in the booth. It was all their fiber. And they had a sale bin. This is the only thing I actually got on sale. The sale bin was 2 for $26. And that was quite a bit. I think the 8-ounce braids were $40. This is 8 ounces braid. It's called Emily's. Hi! You're just in time to see the fiber haul. This is called Emily's Green, and it is Rambouillet fiber, and there's 8 ounces there, and it is just a really nice green color. And in that sale bin was yarn. So this is their lace weight. There is 900 yards. This is Interlacements is the company, and this is they say lace weight, but to me it's it's pretty thin when you get some tension on it. It's kind of stretchy. Though. It's called the Blues, and it says hand dyed by Tracy Scholl. You need to hand wash or dry clean. And you can find it at interlacementyarns.com. So I was real happy to get a bargain, find stuff in their bargain thing. I'm not sure how much would have been left by if I'd gone on Saturday as opposed to Friday. There was a lot in there, but I would think I was snagging the cream of the crop there. And speaking of hand wash, that brings me to tags that I bought. This is like if you make a garment, right, and they're care tags, somebody hand did these, all right. This one says hand wash. Isn't that adorable? A little sheep. And this one cracks me up. Lay flat to dry. Sorry, there we go. Lay flat to dry. So I'm going to keep one each for, but it does say it's made especially for you. So I am so excited about these tags. I just thought they were so cute. And they were done by Knit Ba Pearl. KNITBAAHPURL. Knit Ba Pearl. So anyway, that was one purchase. Like I said, I had 4 balls of fiber that didn't make it home, so that will be coming in the mail. This is Shetland. I bought this and a brown. See if I can get all this on here. That Shetland is so soft. I mean, it is just super soft. And this is Cornwall Romandale. Now, Romandale is the breed that is the base breed for CVM, California Variegated Mutant. And if they breed the Romandale, and if they get certain color variations, not solid brown like this, that is brown, not black, but that's a deep, deep brown. It's beautiful. If they get a color variation, then it's the sheep is labeled as CVM. If they get this, it's Romandale. Okay, but this isn't 100% Romandale. This has Cormo also, which is incredibly soft. So this is just going to be amazing to spin. I mean, oh my gosh. This is drool worthy. So I have the brown, and then the Shetland is actually, this is softer than the Shetland, and the Shetland is pretty nice itself too. The Shetland is a little it's got a lot of black, sort of heavier, and I don't know if they're actually Kemp or not. It's not going to be a distraction. I don't think. I can't get it, but it's like it's got little black hairs in there everywhere, and I don't know what's going to happen when I spin this, if they're going to poke or not. But I love the color. That silver gray color is my favorite color. So we'll see how it goes. These I got at the same place. It was Denise Fleeces. That's where I talked about earlier here right today. I stood there and talked to a lot of the spinners about the fleeces, because she usually I buy fleece from her, and I didn't buy any fleece this time. So I went ahead and bought this processing. She is out of Morgantown, Indiana, and so she was local, and she has beautiful fleeces, and she does a lot of Cormo. She's the one I bought. I have 3 Cormo fleeces that I've just started on one of them, and she's the one that I bought all 3 of those Cormos from. That's why I didn't buy any fleece. I have so much I have to process. I really do. One more thing to show. And I need to put... Here's my tag for my Shetland, which is kind of coming undone. That brown and gray each are 8 ounces. I rarely buy 4 ounce. Okay, last thing is a 4 ounce braid. It's an actual braid, dyed braid. it is called Honey Bunch Workshop. I didn't realize I had my... And it was $25 for 2 ounces. 3.5 ounce. I'm sorry, 3.5 ounce. Two did sound like a small amount. Anyway, the thing that, okay, so she had these in, like, you know, I didn't think anything about it. It was just laying in her basket like this, and it's the greens and blues, very traditional dye on white, 19 micron merino. Now, I'm not real fond of merino, you know, but I'm going to do my absolute best to spin this nice and thin and get something next to the skin, like a cowl or something like that. Anyway, she had these in baskets like this, and I didn't even think about it. I thought she just had figured out a way to tuck it in to itself or whatever to keep it in that shape. And I got it at home, and it's got a, for lack of a better word, a hat pin. Okay, this is a plastic thing. Can you see that? It's got a little end on it. I guess maybe they sell them as stir sticks. I'm not real sure. But she just used it to put her braid together and stick this into the braid through the, you don't even have to go through the fiber, just go through the braids. It's like a hat pin. It keeps it together. It's like, now that's a cool idea. You learn something at every one of these that you go to, let me tell you. So that's my haul. It's a haul too. I'll tell you, I am so excited about it. I had such a good time. Now I'm going to spin. I'm going to shut up and spin. Put this out of the way. Got a nice empty bobbin here. Gonna start a big project. I got my bobbin in there. That looks pretty good. So, Guitar Nut, how are you? And how are the bunnies? Have you named them yet? I hope they're doing well. Okay. Can I undo this? Yeah, there we go. I am going to spin this ewe lamb. This is an unknown breed, but it was a lamb, and it was just identified as ewe lamb that I bought a fleece of. And after I washed it up, I threw it in the dye pot, and I was spinning a lighter yarn. I mean, the lighter bats. I had bats that were actually a lighter color. Can't quite tell it here that it's lighter right now. You can a little bit, but it definitely, there were bats that were definitely lighter. They obviously must have been what I exhausted the dye pot with. And that's this here. I just applied this up today, and I haven't measured it off yet just to know how much I got. But those were the light colors, and it can all be put together. And I have 15 of these bats, so I am going to have a lot of this darker color. It's going to take me a couple weeks to get this spun. The bunnies are good. Oh, one's a little shy, not really arranging the cage or exploring. She's eating and drinking. That's good. That's good. And they can see each other, right? I know they're not necessarily in the same cage, but open like that, that helps too. They were living together in a big enclosed porch area, so the girl was probably bonded or something. I'm thinking, yeah, it could be. But at least, like I said, they can see each other and hopefully they understand what's going on. Yeah. And smell each other. Yeah. Have you, have you handled them? A little bit each day? The worst is, biters. I had the younger ones would want to bite for a while until they got really used to, especially if I was grooming or messing with their head. You know, they you groomed them, yeah. Each morning, about 10 minutes each. Good. Yeah. I'm so glad. They're so cute. Their little top knots. All right. There were not any Angora rabbits at that fiber fair. I was very sad about that, although I always feel sad too when I see them. Wish I could buy them. I wish I could have them again, but I am not physically able to do that kind of work anymore. And can't just ask my husband to do it. He already does an awful lot for me as it is. Okay, we got good pull in here. Let's take that down a little bit. You cannot believe your luck. I agree with you. I it just pays to keep watching, and I know. You should get one just as a house pet. I know. But I travel. A cat can take care of itself and go in and out the door. A rabbit cannot. So, unless it would be a traveling rabbit, which I can't really imagine. Yeah. No, I'm fine if I can see them once in a while, and I'll see lots and lots of rabbits in August when I go to the state fair. They always have a lot of rabbits. They don't always have Angoras. Last year there was just like 2 French, and that was it. That it wouldn't work. I know. I hate leaving my cat even as it is. Although I know he's perfectly capable of taking care of himself. If he has dry food out and a couple bowls of water, my daughter comes out every other day. She never sees him because he's not like friendly with anybody but us. But, she knows he's been eating. And he goes in and out the cat door. So, it works. We can travel. And that's part of our plan for retirement. We won't be traveling much for the next couple months. Might go down to Florida once, just check on things. So my next fiber fair is not too far away. Those are the only two I'm going to until, I'm going to those two, and then I have one in September I'll go to. It is third weekend of May. This is about a month away. And I'll just go for the day. I saw something cute. One of the vendors drives a van in, and what they have was an old food truck that they've converted into a yarn mobile, and they had steps. You go up inside and you can look at all their yarns and everything, but it also had that window that that food trucks have where you can go and order your food, and she had that open, and she had a rack there with fake ice cream cones in that rack, and then she had her balls of yarn, and it was 1 scoop, 2 scoop, and 3 scoops of sock yarn. It was so cute. It was like, I'll take 3 scoops, please. I talked to her for a while and never did ask where she drove in from. The other thing that was big, new, there's always some fad type craft that's hot for the scene right now. You know what I'm saying? And it was they called it twining. Now, I always thought twining was a certain way to make rope. Not that it's twine rope, but that twining was more of a rope process. But this was a rectangle of wood with, instead of nails, it was like a frame loom. Okay, so you could get the different shapes, but they were using a rectangle. But instead of nails, they had actual dowel pegs. All along all 4 sides, and you warped it like a frame loom, but you used 1-inch wide fabric, and you didn't do the traditional over and under weaving. You did knots. So you'd have two of the fiber strips going, and you would do a knot around these warps, and it made like a placemat. Okay, They taught a class in it. I didn't take any of the classes while I was there. I didn't want to take the time. Um, but I talked to the lady who had the booth that was teaching the class, and she was explaining to me the process, and I have no idea if she created it or what. She didn't say. She just this is what you do, and you get different size looms, and you make different size fabric rectangles with it. Extra variegated sprinkles, please. Oops. Don't pull so hard on that. About Bennett. Alright, the whole thing with the bats is I have lots of nips in here. So I'm kind of trying to clean them up before I actually spin. I didn't get a real good join there either. We were listening to a podcast episode where I was reviewing a book. We're talking about the semen worsted, semen woolen. Did you ever experiment with that? Well, yeah. Right now, I am doing semi-worsted because I am taking a woolen processed fiber, a bat, but I am keeping it. It's all to do where you keep your pinch. So yeah, I did work it out, but if you keep the if you pinch and keep the twist behind the pinch, and it looks backwards there, right? The twist is here. There's no twist here. It's not. I'm not letting it through. If you do that, and a lot of people just think of it as making a really smooth yarn, because that's what you do is you let the twist go as you smooth. That's semi woolen, semi-worsted. I have never really figured out. It's semi because you have one kind of prep, but you're making the other kind of single. Does that make sense? I spin this way all the time. So this is either semi-worsted or semi-woolen. I don't know what the difference is between the two. I only know that if I would take top and put it over my forefinger so that I spin it more like roving, I would call that semi-worsted. And if I take woolen bats, woolen prep, and spin it by stretching out and smoothing a very smooth single, I call that semi-worsted. I don't know the difference as far as yarn though, because it really just has to do with what kind of prep you end up having, which you may have control over because you make the prep, or you may not because you buy the prep. And if I want a true woolen spun yarn, no semi about it, I have to let go here and pull back and let the twist just run all the way back. And you've seen people spin woolen. Yeah. So it's the way I tend to spin is mostly always semi, either worsted or woolen, depending on whether I have roving or top. Now, if I have top and I spin this way, I call it a true worsted. If I'm actually spinning top. And I do spin top because I have the combs and I buy top. But I have found, just like even the fiber I bought at the fair, sometimes they call it top and it's not. You just know it's not, right? Some people confuse the words. And I have spun bats where, I do it more woolen because I'm okay with having a thicker yarn. But if I'm trying to get DK or below, I have to do it where I'm really controlling the twist and not letting a lot of fiber run into the twist. A thinner drafting zone. Come to think of it, as I think about it, that fiber fair, I did not see many spinning wheels for sale at all. Woolly Knob had one Wee Peggy that they had. It was used, and they were asking $200 for it. And they always have a silent auction. The people who put the Greencastle show on have a silent auction to raise money for. They have money that they use to run the show. I'm sure they have to rent that fairgrounds, the buildings and everything. So and they do not charge admission, which is nice. So if I had been going back the next day on Saturday, or had gone only on Saturday, I might have bid on a few things. They had a great wheel that I would have no business buying, but man, it was really nice. Somebody had done a fantastic job. They had a true Navajo loom made out of big logs, not big logs, but made out of logs, and the logs were varnished, right? So I mean, it looked really rustic. And that is the kind of loom where it's upright and you're doing you're weaving. You start at the bottom and you work up, and that's what they do their rugs on and stuff like that. They had one of those on the silent auction. Lots of fleeces, and what else did they have? Anyway, they had that spinning wheel. And then I think I saw one other spinning wheel for sale. Very few. Very few. Now, that probably has to do with the fact that they, said they weren't going to have that show, and then sort of at the last minute they decided to go ahead and have the show. They didn't have people to actually run it, to do it, and a group got together and formed a I don't know what they call it, but in order to run the show. So I'm sure that was a good part of the reason a lot of the usual vendors didn't show up. Hi, Mass Bandit. I'm good today. Thank you for asking. How are you? Guitar Nut said, yeah, you haven't been able to get my singles consistently small enough yet for even a 2-ply DK. For some reason, when I get that thin, my consistency goes out the window. That's a drafting thing. And it might be the prep, too. I mean, look into how you're prepping it. You forgot it was Sunday afternoon? You've been doing homework and forgot it'd be on. I'm glad you're good. I'm lucky that I remember it's Sunday afternoon. I've been talking a lot, Mass Bender, about when I went Thursday and Friday. I went to a fiber fair, and that's the first of the season that I've been to, and so yeah, I've been talking a lot about that. Milestone achieved. Can you see this, Mass Bandit? Watched 3 consecutive streams this month and sparked a watch streak. Okay, this must be something new. You triggered it. Yeah. I've not seen this before. You've got a blizzard warning and are expected 6 to 9 inches of snow. I saw where it was going up the East Coast. I didn't know it was in that area also. What I saw was Mistus, and is going up the East Coast. But you're gonna be home and be safe, I hope. This is enough of this snow stuff, isn't it? It's true spring here. I mean, we've got the trees are all full leaf, and Most of the spring flowers are gone. My apple tree has bloomed. Um, so, yeah, it went, yesterday it was 81 degrees here, and then today now it's 53. It's crazy weather. I haven't put my winter clothes away yet. I keep thinking about it, but I just decided I better wait at least till May. We're almost there. It was 80 and sunny on Thursday, and all week it's been warm enough that the snow's been melting, and the highway through your town is flooded, and the gas station is closed due to high water. Good grief. Yeah, we can get some flooding, but it has to rain a lot. It doesn't come from snow melt because we just don't get the snow. We're far enough south, we just don't get that much snow. Gonna take a bite of my Stroopwafel, guys. Sorry. I've been thinking about streaming extra streams just because I have a lot of fiber work I want to do. And if I'm sitting here doing it, I might as well stream. I don't know if that's going to actually happen or not. Tour de Fleece isn't until July, so it's not really in connection with anything. We're supposed to have a cool day yet tomorrow, and then it's supposed to go back up into the high 70s and 80s. So I'll be back out on my porch doing that fiber work. So I really don't stream when I'm doing it outside. You got a set of hand carders and want to order some fleece or locks to play with. Who are you looking at? Have you looked at anybody? I was just trying to think what would be the best way to do that. Um, uh, oh God, I can't see the one near me in Lexington, in Frankfurt. Oh, I hate this senioritis. Well, it's a good time of year. You might not get washed fleece, um, but it's a good time. They'll be shearing. In fact, I saw a lot of sheep. We drive through a lot of country to go up to that Faber Fair, and I saw a lot of sheep, but I didn't see anybody already sheared. I was kind of surprised. I figured they would be lambing by now and they would be sheared by now, but okay, the Woolery does sell some fleece washed. I think it's washed. That's what I was trying to say. I knew if I didn't try real hard, I'd think of it. Let's see what they have. Did you mean the winery? No. I meant the Woolery. Fiber. Okay, so they have the... oh, no, it's not. It's already processed. Okay. They have they have scoured Blueface Leicester. They do have that. Don't get the Wensleydale. That won't work well with cards. Blueface Leicester should work really good. That's all they have is that. I knew they were just pulling something from local. How much is that? Oh, that is really pretty. How much is that for? Weight is 500 grams. What's 500 grams? 3 ounces, something like that. $17 ounces? Oh, that's just, wow, that's over a pound. That's not bad. Huh. Okay. That surprises me. That's a lot. Okay. Um, Katarina, check Discord. Check your Discord. Okay. What time is it? How are we doing here? We got 30 minutes. Not that I'm that anxious to go, but time flies when I'm just chatting away here. Also, GuitarNet, tell me, let's see, what did you say here? You got a set of hand carders. Okay. Did they say what kind of, they call it teeth per inch, TPI. What the TPI is? Or do you have a link to where you, oh, you might not be able to post a link. You can tell me where to look, but where you got them from? Okay, all right. Well, since you had the bunnies, I thought maybe you got a closer, more teeth per inch because of the Angora. That's what they'll say if, if they ask what do you think you'll be doing the most of. They'll recommend higher teeth per inch for Angora. And by the way, I never used combs for Angora. I only ever used carders. Um, Now, I ended up getting a lot of alpaca given to me, and I use combs for alpaca. Uh, it works really good with alpaca. But you can you can card alpaca too, but sometimes alpaca's longer and the comb works better. 72, okay. 72 TPI, middle of the road. Let me take a look here. I'm kind of out of touch with what like Angora cards would be on points per inch. Okay, 108 would be Angora or short staple fiber, yeah, or cotton. So, okay, yeah, you're right. The 72 seems to be. It's nice they sell the different sizes in the two. I'm looking at the Woolery. I don't know where you look down, but in the Woolery they sell the 72 and the 108, but the hand cards are different sizes. The cotton cards, yeah, it's 190. True cotton cards are 190, not 109. So, okay. So what you got, I consider pretty open. And real good for wool. But it may not be real good for Angora. But I'll tell you what, you're not going to have a whole bunch of Angora, and you may not want to spin it 100% by itself anyway. So if you mix it with wool, right, that's exactly what you need. What you got is exactly what you need to mix Angora with wool to do a blended bat. I forget, and I don't put my feet exactly where I should on the treadles, and that's what makes that kunk. If I get my foot up on the pedal further, it won't do it. It doesn't make that noise. This is spinning really nice. Six of these bats are what I had entered the state fair last August, and they got carded 3 times, and I pulled everything out nep-wise, and I really made they're beautiful bats, and they got first place too. So anyway, I have unfortunately them together with the rest. There was a total, like I said, of 15 bats, so 6 of them are that way and the other 9 are not. I didn't take the time to do that for any that I didn't. There was a weight limit. I mean, you had to submit within so many ounces of dyed fiber. It did not have to be processed. They do not require that, but I'm just like, I am not submitting something that isn't pretty looking and ready to spin. I mean, the judge is gonna, even if they don't have that in the rules, they're gonna take that into consideration. I'm sitting here with a smile on my face. I mean, this is just spinning so nice. hate it when that happens. There's a little piece of vegetable matter, and instead of flaking out and flaking off and falling down like most of them, it just gets right underneath my thumb, and it just keeps sliding right down the yarn with it. That's like, drop off, won't you? These rabbits are funny. Don't like romaine lettuce, apparently. Oh no! Oh, go pick a dandelion green. Oh man, I used to give my rabbits bananas. The whole thing. I each one would get a half a banana. Not every day, but have you ever heard? I mean, have you tried that yet? They eat it peel and all. Mine did anyway. They loved it. I never would have thought of feeding a rabbit a banana. And of course, at the time I was raising the rabbits, I was with the Rabbit Breeder Association, which had a newsletter and all sorts of people to talk to and everything. And I was just like, yeah, go buy the bananas that are marked down, and your rabbits will love them. I couldn't believe it. I don't remember giving them leafy lettuce. I heard that was too much water for their digestive system. And of course I always fed hay. So that's how they got there. I didn't have to feed the greens. And they had their pellets, rabbit food pellets. Peel and all. Yep, peel and all. At least mine did. I take the stem end off, cut off, each of the little stem ends, but in fact, when we were raising them, hubby was still working. We were both still working, but he repaired appliances and he would drive all over the place, and he'd go by this one fruit stand and go in there and say, "You got any bananas?" And I had 30 rabbits. If I gave all the rabbits a banana, I needed a lot of bananas. So they didn't get it all the time, but if you're like me, if they'll eat it and you're like me where you can't eat a whole banana, you can share it with your rabbit. But they're fun to watch eat hay because they get this big long stem and it's like watching them eat spaghetti, right? it just starts disappearing into their mouth from one end to the other. Yeah. Well, I'm going to get 2 bats done on this stream. That's pretty good. Gonna have a pretty quiet week. I have to go to the dentist tomorrow, but that's it. Uh, I'll go get some groceries after I do that. And by Tuesday or Wednesday, it should be back up to being nice and sunny outside. I may look into working up the one garden bed. Yesterday it was so beautiful outside, and I had been away from the house a couple days, and I was just doing things in the house, and I never really got outside in that beautiful weather. Of course, now it's gone today, but it'll be back. And we're lucky we had nice weather on the days I have gone. I was talking to hubby about that as we were driving up there, because I have been going to that fiber fair probably since 2000, 1999, 2000, somewhere in there. I was vending. I had the rabbits. I would sell rabbits. I would sell Angora fiber. I would sell other a wool Angora blend. I did on the drum carter. So, this has been part of hubby and I's life for quite a few years, and driving up there, we were talking about how variable the weather can be, and the fact that we had all kinds of weather over the years that we've ended. And the very, very, very first year, which was either 99 or 2000, we were outside. We were new, so we didn't have a good inside spot. I probably had applied. I found out about it and applied, and probably a lot of people had already, paid for their spots. So we were outside, but undercover, but outside, but it was wet and very cold and rainy, and I had to try and, I had the rabbits back behind me so that they'd be out of the weather, and I had to watch the stuff I had on my table so it wouldn't get wet, and it wasn't a real good experience. I'm amazed I continued to do it after that, but the next year I got a spot inside, so after that, the years that I've ended, I was inside. But yeah, the weather could be like it was when we went up there, close to 80. It could be so cold you'd think it was going to snow. Or it could be perfect, where you had lovely 78-degree weather and just was beautiful. Okay, I have reached the end of this bat, and I am going to go ahead and stop. I'll go look and see who's on. If there's anybody on I want to raid. Oh, goodness, I need to move. I've sat too long now. I sat in here some before stream too, working on stuff. Alright, let's see. I can close that. I can turn off the music. Let me go to that. Or not my mic, my headphone. Now, let's see. Who's streaming? Oh, Vintage Sew Gal. I've been there. She's working on a quilt. Delira. What's Gustastic doing? Lefty Crochet.
It's starting to get chunk.
It's getting chunk in here.
So take off all your squares. Extra nip nops can be any.
Curl. Drop. Drop.
Okay, I'm going to somebody new. Annie Me Addict. She's knitting. I like to go to new people
Drop.
and add them to my follows.
Curl. Drop.
Boy, sorry, the sound was way high there.
Curl.
All right, everybody, I'll be back Tuesday morning. It comes around real quick. And it's crafting day, so I know what I'm going to be doing.
Hey everyone,
and
hope we're all well. You
we'll,
finally got time
be
to hop
doing
on
some
stream. Yay,
knitting,
it's evening
crafting.
there. Nice. Welcome in, Dandelion. How are you doing? It's been a couple of days.
All right, let me mute her. for
Tell
a
us how
moment.
you are.
Okay. So we're going to Annie, A-N-N-I-E, Me Addict. Cute name. Oh, wait. Can't do it that way. I have to do raid. So everybody take care. Have a good start to your week on Monday. I hope that you have a wonderful week. And thanks for hanging around with me, Guitar Nut, and Mass Bandit, and all those of you who had other things going on and were lurking. I appreciate it. And we're going to Annie Me Addict. I don't know if it'll put that up here or not, so you can see it. And it's mature audiences. See you later, guys. Bye.
And yes, best of luck with it all. Wow! Hello, everybody. Yarn Spinner's Tales? Welcome in. Let me give you a shout out here. Welcome in, everybody. Thank you so much for that raid. I really appreciate that. We are knitting a shawl right now.